Hello everyone, I'm Jeff Higgins from Higgins Storm Chasing. It is the 1st of the 2nd, 2016. Okay, well let's have a look at the current situation on the water vapour loop from weather zone. We have a very large upper level system here, upper level low pressure system, which has tracked all the way from South Australia here over Adelaide and across New South Wales over the past 2 to 3 days. It has brought widespread severe weather to parts of South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, Tasmania and parts of Queensland. These upper level systems greatly increase instability wherever they affect, and you can see there it's quite a large system, so it affects quite a large area. Over here we have ex-tropical cyclone Stan, which crossed there just to the north of or east of Port Hedland and is tracked through Western Australia. It is now bringing rain to southern and southwest parts of South Australia. There is a monsoon trough, a weak monsoon trough, active up through here through northern Western Australia, through the Northern Territory and Cape York and the Peninsula and the Gulf through there. Over Queensland we have an incredible moist northeast or northerly and inflow here, which has been producing scattered showers and thunderstorms since Friday. Obviously we have seen supercells through both New South Wales and Queensland. Unfortunately, Brisbane area, or fortunately, unfortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, let's say it's fortunate that Brisbane missed out on these supercells on back-to-back days. However, it's very unfortunate the Brisbane area has also missed out on general rain and thunderstorms. The heat and humidity has been absolutely shocking through Queensland over the past 4 days. Okay, so let's move on and have a look at the forecast for the next 2 days. We'll head over here to the Higgins Storm Chasing Premium Membership site. Remember, you can sign up to be a premium member by coming over to higginsstormchasing.com, going into premium membership and signing up. This is for Tuesday, I think. Sorry, I'm lost for days. There's been so much going on everywhere. This is for Tuesday. For tomorrow, we have storms for central and northern Queensland and possible heavy rain for southern, not southeast. I'll have to refix that up, southern areas or southeast in general, but I'll point it out why the general southeast misses out. The heavy rain, possible flash flooding. We scroll down here and have a look at the risk map. Pretty much everywhere in Queensland tomorrow is expecting some showers and thunderstorms. Obviously they won't hit everywhere, but everywhere is under a risk. Some areas have a low risk just of chance of thunderstorms, which is from about Sunshine Coast south, extending inland, western parts, northern parts here as well. We have a chance of storms. Steering winds have been greatly unfavouring these areas. They've been coming in from the north, keeping storms in here along the ranges and or to the west. Rockhampton, you've greatly missed out as well, although I do believe there was some rainfall up there today. And then, of course, areas down here through central from about Sunshine Coast inland up to Gladstone-ish have had some pretty significant rain and storm activity as well as inland parts. So we are expecting a high chance of severe thunderstorms and or heavy rain, possibility through southern and parts of southeast Queensland. Okay, so from Sunshine Coast to Dalby North, all right. Tomorrow I'll move on and show you why. If we have a look at CQLD 2 for Wednesday, you can see there's a high chance of severe thunderstorms through all of CQ from about Mackay to Bundy. Outside area that there's a moderate chance. We'll get on to that. Let's start to have a look at the computer generated data from BSCH. All right, these are the forecast thunderstorm probability charts for Tuesday, tomorrow. You can see here how most of southern Queensland and southeast parts miss out on thunderstorms due to dry air. All right, we've had an absolute lightning bomb go off here just offshore from Brisbane. We've had a couple of severe storms. Cold, dry air's pushed through. It did interact with what moisture it had. there was a lot on the surface. It was a little bit dry up further, but we certainly copped the heat and the humidity from it. Now you can see that most of the state is under the potential for storms tomorrow. I'll move on to this rain area through southern parts and parts of southeast and then central. But you can also see here that some severe thunderstorms are forecast in the red. If we also move on, I'm going to cover Wednesday as well to get both days out of the road on this video. If you look into Wednesday, southeast remains rather fine. But then from about Gympie to St George North, you have a large area of instability and severe thunderstorms potential in the red shaded areas, thunderstorms orange, chance in the yellow. All right, I think that's as far as I loaded things on there. I did have a quick look at Thursday. It continues. It basically continues through eastern Queensland. Southeast Q remains relatively fine. There's a southeast change coming up, but the forecast goes on, which is good news for these areas through here, through central and northern parts of Queensland. I have had a look at some rainfall totals for Townsville, Rockhampton, and they are looking very impressive over the next week or 5 days, let's say, for the rest of the week. Okay, we'll move on now to instability charts. People have asked me what the colours mean. Let's just say that blue shaded areas are instability, dark blue is high, purple is extreme. When you see these charts, it also comes down to other factors. This is for Tuesday, for tomorrow. Okay, so you can see there is a huge amount of instability just offshore from southeast Queensland. Reason is dry air pushes through. There's plenty of moisture over the ocean, so it taps into that and generates high instability. But for tomorrow, from Gympie, wraps back around Taroom, Charleville, Thargo, most of the state is under an unstable air mass. Actually, it would be incredibly moist. We've seen some very high dew points, very high humidity levels. If we move on to Wednesday and have a look at the same chart, nothing much really changes on Wednesday. Southeast remains stable, anywhere from Gympie, Dalby, St George North, again, but you're starting to get into very high to extreme instability through central Queensland parts there. We'll have to have a look at steering winds to see what storms are going to do, and I'll move on to rain areas as well, so don't go away just yet. And we also have some very high temperatures coming up for Brisbane and southeast Queensland. That's for Wednesday. Thursday, the instability remains through southern inland parts, central, northern, northwest peninsula, the whole lot. Doesn't go far away at all. Let's move on now and have a look at the surface winds. This is for today. I can explain some things, more an educational part now as well. Where the wind streams come together from the north and the southwest, that marks your surface trough. Dry air to the southwest. Dew points at Charleville were very low. Humidity was very low today. Might have been hot, but humidity was low. And you can see the northerlies coming in here along coastal regions today from about the ranges east in southeast Queensland. Northerlies came in under high temperatures, and wow, didn't it just cook things up. Some of the feels like temperatures were pushing 40 degrees in southeast Queensland. These temperatures and humidity levels can obviously cause heat stress. So if you're working outside, you have to be very, very cautious of that. The body lacks its ability to cool once humidity levels reach a certain amount of height, because your sweat doesn't evaporate as well off your skin. Okay. So that's for today. Let's move on. We'll move on to tomorrow. I just wanted to show you that today. Now tomorrow you can see through southern inland Queensland parts, again, there is a small but effective dry tongue of air pushing through from the southwest. Storm kill, rain kill, might even ease the humidity a little bit. However, we're going for very high temperatures, and I'll get to that. Anywhere over the rest of Queensland, even into southwest Queensland, Thargomindah, Charleville, Taroom, everywhere north, you have this incredible moist northerly wind flow coming in off the Gulf, the Coral Sea. Okay, we'll move on to steering winds now tomorrow. Or do I get to them? No, I don't. Let's work through the surface trough, see what the surface trough does on Wednesday. Okay, so the surface trough lie from about Mount Isa through Longreach, extending down here to about Taroom and about to Gympie. All right, still dry air pushing through the southeast part. So anywhere east and north of that line, right through central Queensland and northern Queensland districts, very high humidity levels there. Move on to Thursday. The surface trough is still from the Gulf of Carpentaria northwest down through central regions, tracking it. Where does it go? And then it comes out here through Bundaberg. For southeast Queensland, we have a southeast or southerly southeast airflow, which is going to push up along the coast, and it's going to surge very hard on Thursday towards central Queensland coast. Now, what this will probably do in southeast Queensland is give us cooler, cloudy conditions and some showers. However, where this interacts with the hotter air and the more moist air, there's going to be a lot of rainfall occur as this southeast change pushes north. It'll interact and generate anywhere from, I reckon, about Gympie north all the way up the Queensland coast and extending inland, some quite healthy rainfall totals, and we'll get onto those in a minute. So if we go back here to, I need to have it, let me load up, where are we? 700s, there we go. This is what you call the storm steering winds, all right? This is the steering pattern which causes storms to move. Now this is very interesting for parts of North Queensland. While there can be high instability, high humidity levels, the steering winds are unfavourable. It takes inland heat, a little bit more heat inland to develop these thunderstorms. If the winds are not coming from the west, the storms are not going to be pushed through to the coast. And that's the problem we have from anywhere, almost Rockhampton, but anywhere, certainly from Mackay north at the moment. We've seen some really, really good thunderstorm activity through inland parts, but just won't push through to the coast, won't get over the range there. This is for Tuesday. What we also have is these very, very deep, moist winds coming down here in the steering pattern, and it collides with a more drier air mass through here from about Gympie down to Thargomindah. Where these two air masses collide just through here, through southern inland Queensland, you get a convergence, and it force rises the atmosphere, and it utilises every little bit of moisture that it's got and to generate showers, thunderstorms, rain areas with possible heavy falls in through here. We will get onto those figures shortly. If we move on to Wednesday, again you can see the steering winds. Now look at this. Steering winds from Rockhampton, or anywhere down the coast here, but steering winds from Rockhampton north start to swing from the west. So if you get showers and thunderstorm and rain areas develop over inland parts, they're going to be pushed through to the coast in a more favourable steering pattern. So that's good news from Wednesday onwards for central and northern Queensland. It means that rain and storms that have been forecast are now likely to push through to the coast. All right. Let's have a look at Thursday. The pattern remains very, very similar. You have these very, very moist north to northwest winds feeding in through central Queensland districts here, like that. But the steering pattern is from inland and to offshore. So again, showers and thunderstorms and rain areas that develop inland will push through to the coast. And I'm not saying that they won't develop on the coast either, but that's your general steering pattern here, down towards the southeast and out through towards the east. Good news for up there. Let's move on to the rainfall or the temperatures. I want to go to the temperatures for tomorrow, particularly for southeast Queensland. Last I saw, places here were going for anywhere between 35 and 40 in southeast Queensland districts. Most likely you're up to 37s along the coastal fringe, close to the water, but get inland and things really, really heat up. And that's because this surface trough is just offshore. Humidity levels should drop, but temperatures will rise. Let's hope those humidity levels really drop. I can start to feel the dry air pushing through here tonight at the Sunshine Coast, actually. So big area of hot temperatures out here over inland parts of Queensland, and even right in through most parts of Queensland tomorrow. Temperatures are very hot, but just watch the southeast Queensland region for tomorrow for temperature-wise. Let's have a look at the rainfall forecast on Tuesday. This is from OCF. This takes a lot of models in and averages the rainfalls out. Some of these locations and these amounts, you can double them. As we've seen, I did forecast some 50 mil totals around here for Bundy, up to 50, and then we came out with 150. Just depends on where these heavy rain areas and that converge. But as a general rule, I like to keep it as a conservative fashion and just look at the widespread scale of things. So this is on Tuesday. You can see that there's really, really good rainfall forecast from about the Sunshine Coast, maybe a bit further north to Gympie, Dalby, St George out to Thargo, and then in this pocket where the two winds collide together from the south and the north. Look, we could see daily totals in here of up to 50. We could see isolated falls of 100 if thunderstorms develop and become slow-moving and regenerate over areas. Okay? And then you've got lighter falls up through inland parts and the rest of Queensland. Let's move on to Wednesday. You can start to see the system edges a little bit north further. The heavier falls are expected from about Fraser Island into Charleville and then north, especially through CQLD. And look at that, northwest Queensland also expecting good rainfall figures up there. Again, these can be doubled. This is a conservative output. You could get falls up to 50, localised falls to 100 each day under thunderstorms through these areas. North Queensland, it's starting to rain. We're starting to look at figures here of up to 10 mil, anywhere north from Mackay, Townsville and Cairns. The system is starting to work in your favour. Okay, on Thursday. Thursday's a really, really good day for central Queensland and northern parts of Queensland, just shy of Cairns there. This may change for Cairns, but Rockhampton's looking good, Mackay and Townsville looking good. And then inland parts of central Queensland. Remember, this pattern remains in place for quite some time, so we could see back-to-back falls here then starting to develop. We could see some flash flooding. There could be some rivers with minor flood levels, just depends on how much rainfall falls. All right, but forecasts are looking pretty good from about Gympie to Thargo north over the next 2 to 3 days. Southeast Queensland, Brisbane, my apologies. Screamed out for some supercells around. Look, we did see about 8 all up, just not in this area. I think the closest came to about Bow Desert. There was one there, and then obviously the ones tonight just offshore here. You don't want them. All we wanted was a storm and some rain, and it looks like it's failed miserably for the greater Brisbane area and also parts of Rockhampton. There's been a few other places miss out. Do we need it? Not really. The dams are full, the grass is green. We've had a fair bit of rain around the place. Obviously, some people's tanks are getting low if they've missed out, but in general, we're not looking too bad through the region. So it's just the heat that's been more and the humidity that's been more of a bugger, and we've been ripped off from getting those nice afternoon showers and thunderstorms. That's enough babble and stuff for me. I will eventually do a forecast video, an explanation video, explaining why Brisbane missed out the other day. We have some scientific reasons. Briefly, thunderstorms developed north, west and south. These thunderstorms were quite strong. They were actually severe, and they push out boundaries, outflow winds and boundaries from the storms, which stabilise the air over Brisbane. We also had cloud cover. Every degree of cloud cover that drops the temperatures hinders storm development. Cloud cover is very hard to forecast. That happened not once, but 3 days in a row for Brisbane and parts of southeast Queensland. So yeah, just not cool, but there are scientific reasons there as to why it didn't happen. So I don't think it was poor forecasting. The potential was certainly there on those days. Enough babble from me, enough excuses. Blame the weatherman, it's all right. We've got thick skin, we've copped a fair bit of slack over it, but but hey, would rather they actually didn't hit and cause a lot of damage and destruction. We've seen lives lost up around here in Bundaberg. There's been lightning strikes from people being hit. I think there's been about 3 deaths so far. Don't quote me, but we have had deaths from this severe weather pattern over the past 4 days. Okay, guys, that's the final. That's it. Water vapour loop, radar, storms moving off Brisbane, a couple floating around here just inland from central parts. We'll keep an eye on them. Bit of activity up here through central parts. Heavy activity up here, northern WA. Good rain. I've seen some flooding across the Nullarbor today in SA. Let's hope that pushes through and gives them a bit of a drink as it comes through over the next few days. All right, guys, this is Jeff Higgins from Higgins Storm Chasing. Stay safe. We'll bring you more up-to-date videos and text graphic forecast this week. Cheers guys, thanks for watching.